What's up, everyone? This is BigPowner, and this is the entry guide for my starter build, the Elemental Hit. It normally would have come out earlier, but we had really bad server issues, and I had the whole day to play on the league launch, and yeah, I got like no progress because I couldn't get into the server, or I was getting dropped, or I'd play for 10 minutes and then I get dropped and I'd lose half of my progress. You guys know how it was if you were there for the first day. Anyways, the build is working really, really well, as expected. So today I'm gonna just show you what it's like in red maps with kind of some minimalistic gear, and I'm gonna give you guys some directions and some things that are kind of helping me as far as like this league, things to focus on at this point. The main thing that you want to be focusing on is going to be map completion. There's a bunch of different zones that are really good, but as far as gearing up, if you're not having just like a lot of luck drops wise, Syndicate is going to be what I'm going to be heading into just because the new Syndicate's really powerful and there's, some good currency earning options in there since we did lose Harvest. There are like really strong ring mods. There's the minimum power charges with chance for power charge on kill, minimum frenzy charge with chance for frenzy charge on kill. The Syndicate is definitely something you're going to want to be looking out for, just because a lot of these mods are really good. I did just go ahead and go for a 6 link short bow. Cost me 18C for the 6 link short bow for through the um, Porcupine Legacy, just buying the cards. You could farm for these yourself, but for 18C, 18C is pretty easy to get. I haven't been super lucky with currency, so my gear is really minimalistic, but basically if you can grind up 18C and then just look for, your resistances and just stack some HP. You can see my gear's not very good. I 5 linked off of a random harvest for my chest. For my secondary link, which this is something that earlier on I'm going to suggest until you get like super rolling on the DPS for the elemental hit and we get closer to something like the build that I was playing last league. If you have had a lot better currency, you could go look at the build. My finished build for the elemental hit, and that's kind of where you're going to want to be heading towards. Since we don't have all of the crafting options as we did last league, it might look a little bit different, but the reason why I went with this build is because we don't really need all of the influence stuff. It is still going to be nice for us to go for that base crit on the chest, and obviously if you have more currency, you can go ahead and go for the Dying Sun. I am going to touch real quick on our ascendancies. The way that I would go is I would go Ricochet into Endless Munitions and then Tailwind, or you could go for Far Shot. The reason why I didn't go right into Far Shot and the reason why I might go for Wind Ward is because of the league mechanic. If you're playing the league mechanic a lot, the extra movement speed is going to help you a lot, and the Far Shot isn't going to really help us as far as the league mechanic. Eventually, it's not going to really matter because just how stupid crazy the damage is on this. So you might want to go Gathering Wind into Wind Ward. Kind of just depends if you're having issues with dying or if you need more like boss DPS. If you need boss DPS, the Far Shot's definitely going to be really good because with bosses we can have that max damage for 60% more damage is just super, super OP. So that's probably going to be a really strong thing if like you're lacking a little bit of damage on like your conquerors or map bosses um or anything like that, but it's not going to really help you for the league mechanic. So that kind of goes to the reason why I'm running a 5 link with Ice Shot on Mirage Archer. The thing is anytime there's an elemental ailment on an enemy, it causes the LE hit to explode in a big radius. So this helps with spreading our damage. It also is nice for the league mechanic, and I kind of like it for that reason, having ice shot specifically because it's going to be chilling every single time. And then when you do stop and shoot, it's going to guarantee that there's already an ailment on the enemies that you're hitting, which is going to cause like massive damage AOE's. Um, so one thing you also are going to want to do early is you're going to want to buy yourself an Empower support and start leveling it. You could even get many of these if you're hoping to wind up hitting the vols. I haven't had super good currency drops, and I had first day all laid aside, was going to just play and didn't get to do that. So combination of not having really good drops and stuff like that, I'm kind of in a really minimalistic place. I just went until I hit something good on here. The attack speed's good. You could go with a +1 socketed. The reason why I'm not using the Empower yet is because it's not even my Empower is not even level 2, so it wouldn't be gaining me anything. So I actually am running increased critical strike support. This is going to help until I can get my plus gem level bow and until I can get something like Elder or Hunter chest with base crit, just to get my crit chance up because I am going ahead and stacking multiplier where I can stack multiplier. So that's going to be something that's going to help. Like, I said, we're going to try to move into the build as quickly as possible. I have non ideal clusters. It is nice because I'm able to go ahead and start throwing in some jewels. I only have two of my notables on here, so that does help. Um, it's just a lot more damage than what we can pick up in the tree. So you guys have kind of seen my gear. The Belted Deceiver I picked up early, and I haven't picked up anything better. Being close to them right now, once I pick up Far Shot, this isn't really going to help much, but it's a pretty good quiver for a pretty good belt for basically no cost really early. But other than that, you're just picking up HP resistances, crit chance, crit multiplier, elemental damage, stuff like that. One of the options instead of one of going for a minimum power charge and frenzy charge with the chance for power charge frenzy charge, you could get this on your necklace if you're able to, one of them, and then you could go for the if you have the currency. I think there's still the taming. They're 2 EX, so that's a pretty reasonable target there, and that'll help you a lot with your resistances, and that's a lot of elemental damage. We used that last league, so 2 EX isn't bad. That would be a pretty big upgrade. So, anyways, I have a tier 12 map, basically just out. At this point in the league, you're basically just alking and going as long as you don't have elemental reflect or like if you're lacking a little bit of damage on your maps or whatever and there's like big HP or something like that, then you'd probably reroll, but for the most part you're just going to be alking and going. And I'll do the whole map so you guys can see the league mechanic and all that good stuff. Oh, I got frozen. I was trying to dash. Well, I'll make it back there. Alright, we'll hit the league mechanic since I'm not going to run the same path. take that one. I got a decent amount of rewards on that. I don't want to risk it. All right. Swirling Fear. I'm not sure which one I need. Oh, I already got it. Okay, not very bad. If I hadn't just stood still and gotten chilled and then whacked twice in a row, failing dodges. We got I got a blight here too, so you can check that out. It's really good on the blight. Pretty much just sitting off screen, just look at where it's see where the stuff's spawning. Just off screen everything. Assuming there's none of those shieldy dudes. They're keeping stuff from dying. Alright, well that's a pretty good map demo. So yeah, even going into red maps, it's pretty easy. And my gears, like I said, is I mean pretty crappy, pretty cheap. There's not really anything special about any of my gear at this point. I have been just throwing on, opening up kind of the tree the same way. Obviously, I have more points into other things just because I don't have ideal clusters. Like I've got, two notable clusters. One that doesn't have one, and the other one that has something that's not helpful for the build. So obviously I've got more points in my tree than I will have towards the end. But that's kind of what you're going to have to do. If you don't have any notables, what I had done is I came this way and then filled in this here, these three here, and then these three here. This will give you more HP and it'll also give you more damage. Obviously this way for the HP and then this way for the damage, and you come just one and then fill in this way for damage, this way for HP, and you could even fill out five here if you really need the HP. My HP is still low, 4200, but obviously, my gear's still not really that great. I'm only level 87. So getting into Atlas and stuff like that, it's pretty smooth, and since I really haven't invested hardly anything into the build just because I haven't had much drops, I've spent I think 18, 30, 43, like less than an X alt is what I've spent. The rest of the gear has just been found gear. So even if you're not running Lucky, it's just really, really, really reliable and smooth for the content. Obviously, once you can afford to do the multi-mod on the bow and get it to a +3 and socket your empower and remove the increased criticals and get a base crit on like a hunter chest, then the build's gonna just absolutely be destroying everything. But even on low investment, it's going to run really, really well for you. So just focus on early getting that the 6 link short bow through the porcupine, which I bought it. I don't know what the prices are on them now. Let me check. Okay, so they're down even cheaper now. They're only 2 chaos per card, so 12 chaos is all you really have to do to get yourself into your 6 link. And then once you get your gems to a decent level, you're going to pretty much be able to just completely destroy everything. I'll post a paste bin how the build is right now. After you get the 6 link, on the 6 link through the porcupine, then I'd start looking at getting some of the cluster jewels. That's gonna help a lot. When you do have the harvests, save the rerolls for speed, so that you can reroll the bow jewels. Make sure when you're rolling bow jewels that they're at least, I believe, level 50 is the minimum level, but you can check PoEDB on that. Obviously, the higher ones you can get higher tier mods for like the attack speed and extra rolls and stuff like that. But this early in the league, just trying to make something cheap that's going to give you an advantage, just to boost up your damage, I would say just get a minimum of level 50 on the big clusters for bows, or you could do general percent increased damage. That will work too. Like if the other ones are more expensive. And then just save the chaos rolls from the harvest to roll those jewels. That'll make it so you can cheaply get into the cluster jewels. Um, I'm focused a little bit more right now on HP. So like if I can get like 1% HP and a crit multi, that's kind of what I've done. I've gotten a couple that are like just 2 crit multiplier rolls, um, which at this point you're not looking for perfect stuff. But eventually you'll get there. Right now, the mass majority, if they've got a couple of the stats, you're still going to wind up with you're some pretty good stats really cheaply. I've been spending like 10 chaos on most of my jewels. I bought one that was like 25, and that's most of the currency that I've spent so far. I guess that was actually more expensive than my bow, but it was, I had a chance to get one that I'll be able to keep for the rest of the league. So for 25C, that was definitely worth it. Anyways, I hope that you guys are enjoying the build. Once you get Atlas completion and stuff like that, you'll start on zone farming. My suggestions would be to test some of the mechanics because we don't really know how good certain stuff's going to be. I'm not really that ahead, so I can't really give advice on that. The advice that I can give is, every league getting Atlas completion is going to give you an advantage. My focus early is going to be Syndicate, just because I see a huge advantage in the opportunity for gear upgrades. So that's going to be my focus till I get to a place where I have more points and more completion on my Atlas, so that then I can do targeted farming, and then I'll bring out some currency earning videos. Anyways, hope everyone is enjoying the league despite the terrible launch. Um, Anyways, thanks for watching. Peace.